Now, this is game number 5, no? And I just want to discuss the draft here. One of the key differences ng draft na to, yung SBTC, yung inalis nila, hindi actually of Rakan or anything. Ang pinansin nila was of the Jarvan. Habang yung Amihan naman, they don't want to deal with the Rengar as always. And mukhang what they want to swap out is of the Lee Sin. Ngayon, first pick priority kaagad ng SBTC would be of that Gragas. And the Gragas, considering kung ano yung successful lineup ng Amihan mula dun sa game number 2 and even game number 3 and game number 4, which is a high engaged composition, napakaganda ng Gragas for peeling out. Samahan mo rin siguro ng Galio dito. Although natalo yung Galio ha, pero samahan mo ng Galio din na meron ding Heroes Entrance. Ang ganda pang help nung advance ng Amihan dito. So, again, SBTC, they are back once again with a poke comp na merong inherent tankiness, pero this time they added an element of good scaling, frontline scaling in the form of that Fiora. Ngayon, ito kinakataka ko, instead of the Rakan, they went with the Janna. They want more mobility, and they also swapped the Jarvan with the Wukong, which is, I think, is a good swap. Ang pinag-aalala ko lang is yung Janna. Might be a very different thing kung si Orthros ay nakarakan dito, and although alam natin na madali makapag-dodge sa Rakan, if you have the Ari and still the Ezreal, pero, you know, just a different story. Siguro kasi, gusto rin ng Amihan na meron pa rin silang good amount of sustain or protect the moment na mag-all-in yung SBTC. And for the first strike din kasi ng Fiora dito, plus yung Heroes Entrance ng Galio, you can easily react with that Janna. Plus overall, this just makes a very strong lane. Actually, lahat sila good laners eh. Pero pagtandaan nyo sa pro play, ang baba na ng emphasis sa lane kasi bira talaga yung win out of lanes. Yung win nangyayari lagi on groups. And yes, sa unang tingin, kung di mo napanood yung game 1 to 4, medyo wala kang makikitang super X factor sa side ng Amihan Esports. Mukhang mas madali pa nga i-pull off yung composition dito ng SBTC na merong tankiness, meron silang counter-initiate, at meron silang poke. Tapos nakakatuwa yung pagkakashoot ng Fiora as a side lane scaling champion. Ngayon, I did mention na dapat strong lane yung Janna plus the Kai'Sa. Pero yung trade kasi na ginawa nila, it was close to the melee range against the Galio plus the Ezreal. Napanish yung Ezreal dito pero not so much on the Galio. To the point na ang nalugi na sa duo lane ng Amihan Esports is yung duo nila. Also want to emphasize na yung attempt for recall ng Amihan dito, ayan, napigilan ng Galio. And after canceling that recall, umangat yung Galio dito para sumali sa numbers advantage na laban habang pa-reset pa yung duo ng Amihan. Actually, yung Janna hindi na nga naka-reset kasi nakalapit yung Ezreal dito. Pero yung pinakamalaking difference or striking difference on that is of the gold that they have. And the moment na nag-recall yung mga marksman natin, no? Yung Saya, naka-executioner's calling lang. And by the moment na umuwi yung Ezreal natin at makabalik, yung item na dala niya, that is a Tear of the Goddess plus a Cowfield's Warhammer. Now, between the two, dapat mababasa ng damage na route or path yung mana muni path ng Ezreal sa simula. Pero kung magkakatradean yung Saya tsaka yung Ezreal ngayon, mas mataas yung combat capacity ng Ezreal kumpara sa Saya. Kaya nga persado yung Saya na umuwi ulit at mag-farm para sabayan yung item ng Ezreal. So, ito naman, at this point, a trade was decided by Amihan. They've been trying to push yung top lane side habang yung naman, Ocean Drake ang kinuha dito ng SBTC. Pero ang talagang big plan dito is to make sure na yung Fiora ng SBTC ay hindi maganda yung run para sa game natin. Kasi kahit ako din ang titingnan ko dyan sa long game, yung Fiora, napaka-threatening yung Fiora kasi it can chase down targets such as the Janna and even the Saya. And it's very difficult for these frontlines to deal with the Fiora. Okay, ayan. So, panoorin natin itong mangyayaring teamfight na to kasi this is the game deciding teamfight in my opinion. Manamune tapos may Shin. Yung Shin sinosolve yung damage problem ng Manamune by adding the procs. Now, tingnan nyo si Mitsura. Hindi lang kita dito sa screen pero tingnan nyo yung buhay ng Renekton who's staying in that mid lane. Walang na-burn na ultimate or anything pero tingnan mo yung buhay ni Mitsura dito. Clearly, na-poke siya ng Ezreal dito on full combo and full spell weave ng Manamune. Ngayon, pwersado yan si Mitsura na mag-recall, no? And nagkakaroon ng stand-up dito sa mid lane kung saan sasali na rin yung Ari para sumali sa laban habang patuloy na nag-split push yung Fiora dito. Actually, that is coordinated na nabawasan yung Renekton. And again guys, sa Wild Rift, kahit bawas lang, can be turned into an advantage, no? Ayan, no? So, ngayon nakikita nyo dito si Mitsura, no? Tapos may Foxfire yung Ari. The interesting part about the Foxfire, pag tama dito sa Janna, tinamaan din ng Ludens yung Saya under the turret. Kaya naman nakakuha ng turret aggro yung Ari. And that signals for everything. Nakuha na ng Ari yung turret aggro. Pasok yung Wukong dito, went for the Cyclone. Pinalo-upan din yon ng flash ng Akali to the first cast ng perfect execution. Walang tinamaan yung spells ng Ezreal, no? And this is supposed to be a very nice initiate mula sa side ng Team Amihan. Ang problema, kulang ang Team Amihan dito. This is actually a 4v4 fight and it should be in their favor. pero mauuna yung Fiora kumpara doon sa Renekton. This is really good by Carl, no? Nahuli niya pa yung Ari dito with the second cast ng Perfect Execution. Whereas for this end, medyo difficult na kasi nga nagamit ng Gal yung shield niya against that Gragas. Now, with Carl's compromised position, mamamaalam na yan kay Minas. It should be a very easy kill. Lalo pa launch lang yung kailangang i-burn. And at this point, look at the distance na kailangang i-travel ng Renekton. It's very, very difficult. So, yung kill ni Minas dito, hindi ka agad mai-contest ng mga membro ng Amihan simply because there's no Renekton. Imagine if there's a Renekton, they could really go all in into that front line and back him up. Ngayon, ang maganda dito, pagdating naman ni Mitsura, nag-initiate na kaagad sila. Let's go. Mag-start na tayo kaagad ng Herald kasi it will take some time for the members of SBTC na makapag-react. Tsaka nagkamali si Minas, pinakita niya yung sarili niya. Burn this flash, burn the repose, tapos nakapag-launch yata siya palayo. There you go. Pero habol pa rin, no? Kahit hindi tumama yung Feather Storm doon. So, no side laners. Numbers advantage card para sa side dito ng Team Amihan. Pero kahit 4v3 to, napaka-critical na sitwasyon nito para sa Amihan, no? Sometimes, mas okay pa yung 3 na puno na buhay kaysa 4 na bawas lahat ng buhay. Kasi those can easily be converted towards a kill in terms of skill lang ang gagamitin mo. So, na-deny pa rin ng SBTC yung Herald dito kahit yung Amihan yung nanalo sa unang bahagi ng team fight. Also, din I mention na bawas na rin yung mid lane nila. So, this should be an easy push para sa SBTC. So, kumbaga yung mga long-term investment na leads nila, yun yung na-encash kaagad nila dito sa unang 7 minuto ng laro natin. Ngayon, if you look into the items, ang ganda ng Black Cleaver priority mula sa frontline nila. Para talaga tunaw lahat ng frontline. May it be Galio, and yung Ezreal actually may armor din using the gauntlet. Pero ang problema is of the mobility, no? Crap yung mobility dito ng Amihan because of that gauntlet din. And tandaan naman natin that this is a high tension dragon kasi Infernal Drake ito on a game number 5, no? And ang malungkot dito is actually of Jelson na nahuli ka agad and forced to use yung kanyang Cyclone prematurely na hindi tatamaan kahit yung Ezreal at hindi ma-follow upan siya ng Amihan kaagad. Actually, na-burn na lang kaagad yung Munsun dito ng Janna and still, hindi pa nga yun kasama yung Ari. Remember na kung melee range, napakaganda ng composition ng Amihan dito. Pero kung usapang longer distance na, alam naman natin na 4 na melee yung sa side ng Amihan and you can easily just punish them from a distance using an explosive cast. Kanina nga, you also have the charm plus of course the Orb of Deception combo. And dahil sa wala nang harap dito, at yun, iwan! Mga kaibigan, si Demon dito ni Mitsura, Demon, a high priority target was caught here by SBTC. And with that, that's a very bad signal for this game number 5 against Amihan. They lost their ADC, they lost their jungle, and definitely they lost that Infernal Drake. At that team fight na naunahan si Wukong at naunahan din sila ng SBTC kumasa from the range that they have, hindi nagamit at hindi nasulit si Mitsura yung Renekton pick. Ngayon, alam na ng SBTC na may momentum sila at makikita mo yung aggressions nila and face checks nila. It's definitely more aggressive na nga than before, no? Kumpara doon sa game number 4 later parts nila. Actually, napuwersa nga si Jelson dito naggamitin ng napakaaga na naman yung Cyclone niya. Umaasa na pwedeng magamit yung second Cyclone to a higher efficiency. Pero dito na nasabi ng mga fans bakit sobrang hassle ng Gragas ng team SBTC. There is gonna be an explosive cast here, no? At alam naman natin, napakalaking bagay yung displacement ng explosive cast. And also remember, mid-flight ng explosive cast ay naka-crowd control pa rin kayo. There you go. At nilayer yun ng napakagandang true shot barrage, no? 2 members. At hindi nasulit yung Munsun ng Janna because she gets sniped, no? She gets sniped by that first kill ng Ezreal na dapat tatama sana sa Saya. Pero ayun nga naka-invincibility frame yung Saya. At hindi naman yun katulad ng Braum ability na nang bablock ng spell tapos walang damage. Kundi talagang nawawala or nagiging untargetable yung Saya. And therefore, yung auto-attack or yung first kill ng Ezreal ay tumama doon sa Janna. It was really sad here para sa side ng Amihan Esports because that's just a very snappy play na ang bilis nakuha kaagad ng SBTC. Nakuha din nila yung Torre. And from this, dito mo na lang talaga ma-appreciate yung power ng long range or poke champions ng SBTC. Remember Herald to, and they still have the momentum in this bottom lane. Hindi nila pinayagan na yung Amihan ganun kadali nakapag-reset. Kaya hindi lang isang Torre nakuha nila, kundi 2. Sa ngayon, sobrang laki na ng lamang ng SBTC. Majority of it ay nasa kamay pa ng kanilang ADC na napaka-mobile and can be said, no? And majority of it ay nasa kamay pa ng kanilang ADC na napaka-mobile. That can be said, kayang i-kite back, lalo na sa late game, itong Renekton and even the Wukong, no? And that's why it's gonna be difficult to deal with this Ezreal. Also, take note na kulang ang defensive items dito ng Amihan. They've actually doubled down on a Black Cleaver or shredding frontline. So, yung armor ng frontline ng Amihan dito ay mahihirapan i-withstand yung poke ng Ezreal. So, let's break down this team fight, no? Pinaplano sana ni Jelson na mag-flank mula sa direction na to kasi dapat mahirap talaga na mag-engage mula mula sa harapan like this one. Pero they've decided they wanna do it. And what they did is actually nag-slice and dice all-in combo si Mitsura sa harapan. That burns the thought mula sa Durand ng Galio natin. And nag-engage na rin pati si Carl, no? Burning actually relatively early yung kanyang Shroud. Nag-first cast na rin siya ng kanyang Phantom Execution. Pero ang ganda ng explosive cast dito, disrupting Carl. He was forced to use the perfect execution second cast na hindi pa sulit yung bonus damage just to close the distance against Kiral. Na-drop niya si Kiral dito, pero ayan lang na-body slam kaagad siya ni TF. Nakatingin si TF talaga sa kanya, and the Gragas was doing really well in peeling for that Ezreal, no? The fight continues, pero both of these two teams nakapaghiwalay na lamang sila sa isa't isa as with the only casualty of Carl, no? Ginamitan man ng ult ng Fiora dito yung Saya, pero nakapag-ult din yung Saya as a counter. And ang ganda sanang opening nito para sa Amihan for the main reason, kaya rin nag-double down yung Amihan on engaging that kasi nga yung Fiora nasa may bandang baba. And if they can execute that catch, no, in less than 3 seconds, would have been a nice comeback for them. Pero ayun nga tandaan na again, ito ay naka-omni-bump din na composition. Samahan mo pa nung Infernal Drake. So kumbaga, meron ka nang lifesteal o kaya spell bump, then you also have bonus damage on that Infernal Drake. So yeah, overall, it was a team fight 1 for the side of SBTC. Mentally, the lead here of SBTC is now established. And SBTC, they're also riding on that. They have the lead onto the Ocean and also the Infernal. They now will easily take a Mountain Drake. And this time, mas maingat yung Amihan on engaging them. I think ang rule ng Amihan dito is they will only just engage kapag nag-split push yung Fiora utilizing Mitsura. Pero may isa pang problem na namumuo sa laban na to, no? The Akali herself cannot go toe-to-toe or one-on-one din with Minas. Na-burn na nga din pati yung stasis ng Akali and even her flash just to make sure it doesn't give any free kill for Minas. And Minas here, even the Renekton hindi rin pwede makiduel sa kanya. So 3 core items on this Fiora, very very deadly. And with this kind of pressure sa may side lane, nakaroon ng napakagandang freedom yung SBTC to take control naman of the side na may Baron. Now let's move to the final moments of this game. There will be a charm that will connect para kay Demon dito. So that's a very good signal. Actually hindi lang yung charm na yan, pati rin yung thought ni Akeno ay magko-connect din kay Demon. Pero ang problema with the favorite crowd control, no? Ganda talaga ng Merc boots, no? Ng Merc threads. Nakapag-cast kaagad ng Featherstorm dito si Orthros. And damay dun sa Featherstorm na full combo followed up pa nila Jelson tsaka ni Mitsura ay yung full lockdown against the Ezreal. Nothing could be better than this. Seryoso. This is a good momentum na para sa side ng Team Amihan, no? So all they need to do is just get the cleanup. Pero remember din na Demon dito critical yung buhay and still nag-split push pa rin yung Fiora dito sa may taas. So what happened here is the Squisher and Deadlier members ng Amihan went for the Fiora. Habang yung Brusco brothers naman sa harapan, tandaan natin this is a Black Cleaver build. Wala silang sasantuhin na makunat or frontline din ng SBTC. That's why they're able to get the cleanup. Ngayon hindi pa tatapos nag-decide yung Amihan that they want to position themselves towards the Baron. Pero hindi talaga go all in on the Baron, but rather pwesto at scout muna. Pero they set their squishy members, ayun na nga, towards that Baron. Ngayon naalala nyo yung sinabi natin na wala nang pwedeng maki 1v1 sa Fiora. And sa totoo lang, kahit 2v1 ang hirap ng scenario na yon. And just look how Wild Rift can be played, no? Fiora will be zoning out this two members here, the Akali plus the Janna. After zoning them out, babalik siya dito sa may Dragon Pit. And with the launch, she can easily dash down, no? Habang si TF naman dito, with their pokes, diba? Alam naman natin, pag nasa Baron Pit yung mga kalaban, lalo na kabawa sila, napaka-solid nung poke niya. Nagulat nga ako na hindi basta-basta na burst pa nga yung bukong dito because of that explosive gas ng Gragas. Remember din na napatay ng Fiora yung Akali, hindi man nakita sa camera. So talagang win-win na to para sa side ng Team SBTC. Of course, Team Amihan, they want to at least get one. Pero at this point, kahit mapatay nila si TF, sa totoo lang, Baron na to ng SBTC. Pero kung laging sa mga breakdowns natin, parang laging palyado yung paggamit ng Gargoyle Stone Plate. Dito iba. Gargoyle Stone Plate para kay TF, after maburn niya yung mga spells niya, he's just so tanky. At kahit napakarami na ng binabato ng SBTC dito, kasama pa yung marksman dyan, kayang i-withstand yon ng Gragas. Kaya naman pansin nyo, parang ang tagal mapatumba ng Gragas dito, di ba? Pero still, he will be going down. Umabot pa nga sa punto na kapag 3-man body slam siya, ang punto doon is that he was able to buy enough time for Minas to clean up. Remember na nag-teleport na rin yung mga membro dito ng Team SBTC and they want to join this fight. This is the downfall of Amihan for this game number 5. And yeah, after that, kanina sabi ko yung Baron sa side ng SBTC na yun Pero ito, because of that death timers and still hindi naman na-shove yung minion wave sa may mid lane side, with this vulnerable inhibitors, SBTC was able to push their way towards the base of Amihan Esports and close this 5-game series to a 3-2. So, ayun, there you have it. Now, I did mention that we want to pursue the biggest learning lessons netong laban na to. Pero sa totoo lang, as I watch it and observe it carefully, yes, there are clear lessons. Pero I think it was really hard fought, and I think nakuha ng Amihan even playing from behind what they should be doing. There are of course some key mistakes here and there. And siguro yun na, let's go to the lessons. One would be the value of tanky champions na may magagandang poke. I believe sa Wild Rift ngayon, napakaganda ng mga tanky champions. We are currently in a meta kung saan popular si Garen dito, although he is not a poke champion. Pero consider playing the Gragas, consider playing the Galio. These kind of champions, they offer a lot for your team. They will be poking you down with their first skills, with a barrel roll o kaya Winds of War. And when you decide to engage them, there's just a lot of changes doon sa green rules that makes them really tanky and enable them or their teammates to make a counterplay. Kaya naman ramdam ng mga fans kung gaano ka-hassle yung Gragas dito. Pero hindi lang actually yung innate kit ng Gragas o kaya yung Gargoyle Stone Plate, pati na rin yung runes ay nakatulong para sa kanya. Also sa series na to, pinaka naging successful yung Amihan sa kanilang skirmish composition kung saan meron silang Lee Sin at meron silang Fiora. And also a composition na meron din silang mid lane Darius. It feels like Philippine teams benefits a lot from really high mobile champions, but has difficulty in dealing in team fights na harap-harapan. Syempre, never natin malalaman kung ano talaga yung nagre-revolve behind the strategy of the team as they compete in this kind of tournaments. Pero as you look at it as fans, makikita natin kung saan sila mukhang malakas. And for this case, I believe Amihan and majority of Philippine teams, they're really good when it comes to skirmishes. Whereas yung mga Southeast Asian regions naman ay nakuha yung meta ngayon. And I believe yung itsura ng meta ngayon for teams would be a combination of poke plus tankiness so that you can have an effective counterplay kapag trinay i-hard engage yung poke composition ninyo. Syempre, gusto nating manalo ang Philippine teams. Pero talagang pag at the heat of the moment, meron talagang mga calls or days na kailangan mong kunin as a team. And kinuha yun ng Amihan by taking the Baron. And remember, those leads, pwede yun i-capitalize naman ng kabilang team. For this case, si Gragas ng SBTC TF. Still no shitting, I really believe Amihan played that game number 5 really well. Yung mga opportunities to take on against the opponent, kinuha nila. Medyo nasobrahan nga lang dun sa Baron. Pero yeah, win or lose, lalo na pag lose, dun mas kailangan ng suporta ng Wild Rift teams natin for the Philippines at ng Wild Rift Philippines community itself. Anyway guys, sana nag-enjoy at tuwa kayo sa panunood ng analysis video na to. Like if you like the video, subscribe to support the channel. Let me know in the comment sections what do you think of this best of 5 series between Vietnam's SBTC Esports versus Philippines Amihan Esports. I'm Shibu with the one for and I always saying na lahat kayong gamers, mabuhay!